that's a good
which
segue to start talking about
yeah,
uh, in the larger scheme of things, what is it that is wrong with this team now? I think we've been dealing with this inconsistent problem for majority of last 10 years now. I think barring a couple of seasons where we finished second or maybe third, that season also we were relatively consistent. One season each under Mourinho, Ole, and Eric Ten Hag. I think this team has largely been inconsistent. What do you owe it down to? Like, why is it that this team is not able to consistently perform well?
like we talk about player capability, I also feel it has been a lot about availability of players.
Hmm.
Players go missing for our team due to various reasons, for long durations of time. That doesn't allow any manager to fit a certain style or a certain consistent lineup, match on week, during various matches. Even since Amorim has come in, we have seen Luke Shaw got injured for a long time. We have seen Mason Mount go out for a long time, and these are two important players in the starting 11. We have seen Bruno take suspension. We have seen Dalo take unnecessary red card,
Yeah.
and we have also seen issues on off-field issues like Garnacho and Rashford.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about French players here. I'm not talking about players who might be squad players and whose absence we can be subset very easily with other players. And for that matter, I don't think we have that big a capable squad. We don't have 20 good players in our
Yeah.
squad right now. I think we have maybe seven, eight good players. And if players of such pedigree go missing due to unavailability, due to injury, due to suspensions, or due to off-field discipline issues, it makes it very difficult for the manager to actually put an idea on the paper.
Um, largely agree, but maybe that is the situation right now. When Sir Alex Ferguson left the squad, we still had a lot of capable players. We still had a huge sort of a squad with us. So I just feel that it is much bigger than having a decent squad, and all that I think comes down to the fact that for years now, maybe probably since David Gill went from his role as the executive CEO or whatever his role was at that point in time, for the large period we did not have footballing brains in our hierarchy. I keep coming back to that. So I think our recruitment has been flawed for years now. There were seasons when we would bring in Falcao, Angel, Di Maria, and then later we brought in Zlatan. Uh, we would keep bringing these star players, so to say, who are pretty much either past their prime or they have been injured and they haven't been able to come back to that same levels that they had. And we would throw crazy amount of money. Look at Alexis Sanchez. I mean, Alexis Sanchez, one could really not see that level of degradation for a player. Few months back in Arsenal, he was doing great. So, well, sometimes it could be luck also, but even for Alexis Sanchez, he was on such high wages, and you are getting a 30 plus player for such high wages, it becomes very difficult for you to then offload players, and then they would stick around the team, destroy the camaraderie in the dressing room. So I think all that sort of adds up. So I think my one, if I have to really hold something accountable for it, it will be the long history of poor footballing hierarchy in the team.
And we still have a lot of these players in our dressing room right now, right? We keep hearing murmurs about Garnacho.
Yeah.
There are rumors about almost everyday rumors about Rashford being linked with AC Milan, Barcelona. Uh, Yet nothing concrete has come. Either we make a clean break and make maybe it's up to the
It's
clubs
not so
also
easy
who
as
are,
well, right? I mean, they might be able
yeah.
to, they might be focusing on making a clean break, but then these things take time. And to Amarim's credit, I think he's not fueling any fires. Whenever he's asked a question, he just says, "I'm here to win the next game." So he's not answering a lot of that. But yeah, even the tactics, if you were to talk about the tactics, the kind of managers we have hired, Moyes, I will discount for any sort of tactics at this point in time. I think it was too difficult a job for him to come into immediately after Sir Alex Ferguson. But Louis van Gaal, then Jose Mourinho, then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, then Eric Ten Hag. I think I don't see a clear pattern of managers coming through. I think we have just tried to see whoever best is available at that point in time, who could bring us back, who has, like Louis van Gaal has had a good history. Jose Mourinho has won trophies. Ole was, brought as an interim, did well. He was retained, and then Eric Ten Hag did has done well against with Ajax. So he was brought in. So I think there was no clear tactical setup also that we had for a longer period of time, which is where the players were accumulated with different tactics and never really sat up. So now Amarim, the squad he has had players primarily, you know with the thought process of playing transition football. Maybe, I don't know, I'm making my guesses here, but at least the thing about Amarim is that he will play his system, and the players will have to adapt. Otherwise, I think it's perish for those who are not able to adapt.
But the problem that you're mentioning can only be solved for the consistent transfer approach for at least 5 to 6 transfer windows. 5 to 6 transfer windows means almost 2 to 3 years of time,
Yeah,
and we haven't seen any single manager being given that kind of time. Right now, if I was to say which players really do not fit the system of Ruben Amorim, we could say Anthony doesn't fit the system. We don't see Rashford fitting in the system. Garnacho is has come back into the squad, but isn't doesn't really fit
yeah.
like a glove.
I think
Maybe
even Amarim
maybe we
mentioned
say
in the recent press conference before the Southampton game
yeah.
that he will have to learn to adapt to play. It's not in our new system. There isn't a natural position for him. So yeah, I don't think he naturally fits into the squad.
We don't have natural wing backs right now. These are all transfer problems which cannot be solved in 1, 2, or 3 windows. It will take a long amount of time.
Yeah,
And by the time we reach that time when we are well set into the vision of a certain manager,
yeah,
usually is the case that results are not coinciding with this period, and
correct.
we end up sacking the manager, and again the cycle begins.
Yeah, which was
So.
my major bone of contention with the Eric Ten Hag signing. Oh, sacking.
hmm,
My thought process there was that okay, if we've bagged him after the FA Cup win, and even after he finished eighth, we have bagged him with 200 million euros worth of transfers. Let us continue. What is the worst that could happen? I think the worst that could happen is we finish 12th, 13th, 14th. I don't think we would have gotten relegated. The worst that could have happened is where we were after 20 games. And this season, if we even if we are able to do better, maybe we end up finishing 7th, 8th. I don't see a drastic difference in finishing 7th, 8th versus a 13th, 14th. He would have gotten this entire season, probably. And the games against Crystal Palace, the games against West Ham, we saw some semblance of his style sort of coming forward, although the players were not able to finish the chances. So it is maybe down to bad luck. Had we won those two games, maybe he wouldn't have been sacked. Who knows? But the point is that he would have continued on, and probably something good would have come. Okay, now that we have seen Amorim, we could argue that he was not so good to hold his tactical
hmm, hmm.
or technical sort of play at top of everything else, which Amorim does. So maybe Amorim is a better option. Great, we got him, but I think now he needs to be backed. We can't go into the next season thinking that okay, if we are sixth, seventh, eighth in the table, we are not getting a few results. Let's snap and look at firing this one and see if another good manager is available. I think that wouldn't work.
No, I think Amarim is being backed as being. I mean, we have seen the Rashford saga. Amarim has been clearly given the mandate that you keep all the players who you think play according to your system, play according to the demands that you have kept, and it's good to see player power coming to an end and
Yeah,
manager getting the time and authority agency to dictate what kind of rules are set to be set in the club right now. So let's hope that continues. Maybe that is the final consistency bit that we need.
Yeah,
A manager putting his foot down and bringing the players that he needs. So we can only hope that these three, four things that we have mentioned, they coincide together. The
yeah,
players with the right mentality falling at the same time, along with the manager who actually has a vision and believes in his vision and can communicate that vision
yeah,
to the players and to the fans as well. We as fans also are seeing what Amorim actually wants to play. We are seeing big performances against big teams.
yeah.
That is some way a good foundation to have for any manager, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Hopefully, the footballing brains in the setup now, Omar Barada, Wilcox, I think all of them sort of come together, back the manager, make the signings which makes this squad uh, consistent, increase their strength, and hopefully results can coincide so that there is less pressure and we can start becoming consistently good again.
Yeah, and hopefully the football gods also smile at us. I remember De Gea mentioning that somebody has put a curse on us. I really hope that
Must be
curse is
Pogba.
over. It must be Pogba, definitely. Yeah, I mean, really hope the footballing gods are with us and these all these things coincide with each other. And yeah, we see a consistent Man United once again.